channel info for you. We are doing Final Fantasy right now. Just having a slight issue with the channel bot.
Hey, it wouldn't be Twitch if we didn't have issues, right?
And we just got the go sign, so you'll see our runners start up in just a few seconds once the stream catches up. Alright, so our magic shops are completely shuffled. You may find level 1 spells, you may find level 8.
We got a level 1 confuse spell in the black magic shop.
That could be useful against the pirates. No bracelets so far in Canaria's armor shop, so it ain't gonna be that easy.
And we got some cheap houses and cheap heal potions as well. So that's going to be a welcome sight for our runners.
Yep, that could be very handy indeed.
I think we'll probably get a lot of usage out of that confuse spell in the early game with 400% enemies and only 2.2 experience. They're going to need it against some of these groups if they want to level up quickly.
That is true, and Will taking the early bridge, that's one of the flags on. Looks like he's gonna check Matoya's cave real quick.
And Sforzando's found a pro cape in the Temple of Fiends.
That is pretty useful early on. It won't help satisfy the victory condition, but it will help keep his characters a little healthier. So Will's Black Mage has already eaten dirt.
Where he belongs. And Will finds the TNT. It's dynamite!
So
about
in
11,000 gold. Sorry.
Yeah, that is a pretty good find early, especially if you find one of those bracelets at a somewhat high price.
Yeah, I mean, this early in the race, 11,000 gold is pretty useful, but it seems like he reset. I didn't see what happened. Wolves have death touch. That's not fun.
Oh, fun. And there are plenty of wolves in the early game, as Forzando's dealing with them.
Pretty much in the entire interior sea, everything around there is going to have a wolf somewhere.
And so with them having death touch and being so common, we are probably going to see a ton of encounter manipulation in this run.
Well, in Sforzando's screen, the wolf just managed to death touch himself.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that sounded bad, didn't it?
Oh, and the spider just laid him out. So he's cutting his losses and headed elsewhere.
Don't mess with those 8-legged freaks.
With these stats, enemies can hit extremely hard, and you may not be able to find enough armor to build up your absorb to a decent level.
Linda Cat's about to find out what the wolves got in store for them. Not only do they have death touch, they hit really hard too. And Will made it back to Corneria with his TNT, and he's going to buy some armor and try to get a little bit beefier. Except there's no armor for him, apparently.
Yep. He didn't take a fighter or even a red mage.
I kind of disagree with that. That's just me, and it's personal preference, but you don't know how far along in the game you're going to have to go. The fighter is going to be pretty useful, at least to a point.
That is true. For 3 of the bracelets that are required to finish this seed, there's 1 copy of each in chests, but they can also be found in armor shops. Where depends on how the randomizer decides to treat you, but that opal bracelet, it could be anywhere. It can't be bought. It could even be all the way at the end of the game in the Mazmune chest.
It's very true. So are we up yet on stream? I'm not seeing it in Twitch.
Okay, so anyway, try to get my bearings. I was distracted for a moment by fighting cats. Will taking a trip to TOF to see what's there.
Meanwhile, speedrunner Hudson is looking on with a watchful eye, trying to see which one of these runners is going to get to provoke it first and get that ship and get away from all these nasty wolves.
Having the wolves or gray wolves or anything like that have something nasty can make a seed much harder than it has to be as J-Lo gets his TNT. So the moment he gets the ship, he can blow the canal open straight away. That doesn't absolve these runners from potentially having to run Marsh, though.
No, yesterday Marsh was not required, and a couple of our runners still went there and happened to find the floater in the crown lock chest. Ooh, and a level 1 heal 3 that the red mage can't learn. Womp womp.
And it looks like J-Lo is remaking his group.
This kind of late in the game to do that. I don't know if I'd be spending a lot of time with the letters. I would just type a name in and go.
I wonder if he saw something or just didn't save, or either way, he doesn't have the TNT anymore.
True. And Sforzando is currently confusing the pirates, and they are very curious as to what's happening around them now. That should make his life a whole lot easier. And the pirates are hitting themselves hard.
Yeah, if you have nothing else, confusion is a great thing to do. If nothing else, it gets the pressure off of you.
Especially if the pirates have something nasty like Thunder, which they did have yesterday. They had Thunder and Stop Spell.
So Len is picking up his stuff out of TLF. We'll see if he decides to fight
Alright,
Garland.
Sforzando's beating the pirates, and he's going to get a couple level ups for his trouble. And we're going to see where he heads next. I think if I was him, I would probably go ahead and head to Dwarf Cave. You know you've got the TNT, you're going to have to head there anyways. And see what you got in the first couple chests.
That would be a pretty smart call. Looks like Provoca has none of the bracelets needed, but does have tents and cabins. We are aware that the stream title and game are not reading accurately at the moment. Twitch did something in their API and none of the bots are working. We are addressing it. So, Len knocks down Garland, by the look of it. Sforzando's on the ship, and J-Lo is back at Matoya's. Looks like he grabbed his TNT again. Okay, so it looks like Sforzando is gonna head back to Caneria, revive the dead thief. We'll see where he goes from there. Will looks like he's gonna try to make a Peninsula power play, which is interesting. The white mage must have gotten a pretty good attack spell. Looks like he's trying to save scum for Zombo-only encounter. Sforzando headed to the Dwarf Cave to...
Alright, we got Will Bloodworth over on the Peninsula Power. He's going to try to get a few levels up before he moves on. Sforzando is turning in the TNT. And finds a ribbon for his trouble. He'd be happy to see that.
And a house, which helps as well if he has to do a short bit of grinding involving magic levels. So, longswords found, as well as grabbing the silver shield and gauntlet and the iron helmet for a little bit of absorb on his fighters. Sforzando's all the way over to Melman, checking the spell shops.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I was having some audio issues. Alright, and Sforzando finds the first bracelet, the silver bracelet.
So he's a quarter of the way there as far as completing this seed goes. There's also chain armor, which is pretty good as a cheap option for his red mage.
And Will Bloodworth, it looks like he's going to be grinding down by Cornelia. That seems like, or Cornelia, excuse me, this isn't Star Fox. It seems like a kind of an odd choice.
Yeah, it's possible that the pop grind just didn't work.
That's very true, but I feel like there's other places you can grind, especially given that you have the TNT. You could go over to Melman and grind, or you could potentially even try to get over to the Crescent Lake area and grind.
Any place without those Death Touch wolves.
That's very true.
Plus, the experience just isn't that great in these flags. Farming little popcorn encounters like this is.
Alright, so Sforzando's chugging right along here. He's in Elfland, looking at some spells. Trying to get a little bit here before he heads out to the rest of the bracelets. Finds a cure for some not learnable as red mage, which is a shame to see. And Will doesn't forget about Hooray.
So Linda's finally running
Linda
into
Cat
his
is
pirates.
finally taking out his pirates. Meanwhile, we have J-Lo heading over to Provoca for what I believe is the second time. This is a pretty slow going seed so far, with the exception of Sforzando. Tara, what do you think the runners are looking for that's slowing them down?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I haven't seen many of these Stage 3 races yet. General lack of AoE could be an issue, though.
Okay, well, I don't know if Tara has stepped away for a second. So it looks like Sforzando is sailing over to the Crescent area, if my eyes don't deceive me. Meanwhile, Linda Cat is stocking up on tents, and then he's probably going to be heading to the same direction. J-Lo is over in Provoca, and Will is still grinding over on Cornelia.
Yep, we're just getting around and noticing that. Looks like Biz is gonna fix his audio issue real quick. Sforzando not finding much in Crescent. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Sorry about that. Discord's been having some audio issues lately, and this probably won't be the only time it happens, so I apologize in advance. On a side note, speedrunner Hudson has now joined the party. Say hello, Hudson. Or just stare at me. That works too, buddy.
Yeah, Swarzanda running all the way around Crescent. Len picked up Rub, which is an interesting way to go.
It's not one I usually choose. If I want to pick up an instant death spell, I'm going to pick up Brack or Bane or even Quad X. Rub's not so much. Right, Hudson? Do you agree? Tell everybody how you feel about it. Well, they don't call him the best color commentator in sports for nothing, folks.
Says Sforzando clearing away a couple of EXP'd encounters. I'm guessing his AoE is still lacking, or they just hit too hard.
So if you're Sforzando, where would you head, Tara?
He's already checked Melmond, he's already checked Crescent. He's found only one of the bracelets so far. I would pick an area that would be appropriate for his level and with a lot of chests. And I would go looking for the floater to open up the upper world. We know that the other bracelets pretty much have to be in Gaia at this point.
That's correct. So you know you got a copper bracelet in Gaia, as well as a gold bracelet in Gaia. So then you're just left looking for the opal. So at this point, you're right. I feel like it's a floater seed. Find that floater, and whoever finds it first is going to have a pretty significant advantage. Right, Hudson?
Sforzando is finally getting around to checking Elfland. Or just panicking.
That's right, I agree.
Very cheap silver swords, but only his red mage can equip it.
That's a shame. That's another reason why I like to bring a fighter and a red mage, just for the versatility.
Yeah, he's running with 2 thieves, which is a very interesting call. You only realistically need 1. Copper was in Crescent, so then we're just looking for the gold. Again, we are aware that the game at the moment is stuck on Mario 3. Normally we would have Nightbot change the game and the stream title, but Twitch broke bots.
But stick around a while and listen. You came for Super Mario Bros. 3, now stay for Final Fantasy.
It's every bit as random.
Alright, Will is still grinding over in Provoca. He must not feel too comfortable with moving on. But is finding some success with that rub spell.
He's having to take a pretty methodical approach here because he has not quite cleared where all the wolves decide to... He also may have had a hard time with pirates because there's no ship.
That's kind of surprising because the pirates are pretty easily dealt with a confuse spell.
Ooh, Sforzando running into a bunch of those wolves. This could turn bad in a hurry. Not much HP at least.
Well, he managed to confuse all but one of them, so he's probably in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I called the last race on here last night, and I'm calling this one kind of bookending it.
There was a race last night? Oh, I was in that race last night. Sorry, never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, the life of having kids. Alright, so Sforzando is still grinding in the Elfland area. Meanwhile, we've got JLo turning in the TNT. Will Bloodworth's stream has gone MIA for the current moment, and Lynn the Cat is sailing around the southern end of Elfland.
Yep, we are getting a runner swap. You can thank our tracker Edgeworth for that.
Who's he pulling up?
We got
Alright.
Quicklet coming in.
With some very interesting sprites.
Yeah, that looks to be a Mario 2 inspired set.
You mean Doki Doki Panic, right?
No, Doki Doki Panic used different sprites.
Well, I lose.
Even though you can argue it was designed to be a Mario game from the beginning, just with the different characters to start. But you didn't come here to hear us talk about Mario 2.
Maybe you did, but either way, you're gonna stick around for Final Fantasy Randomizer. Stay a while and listen.
So, let's see, Sforzando's grinding on ogres now, which is not a terrible call for money.
Meanwhile, Quicklet is giving us an 8mm film rendition of the Final Fantasy Randomizer.
He did warn us that his stream can be choppy at times, so just bear with it. It's obviously far enough ahead to make that film reel style worth it.
He must have Comcast. Kappa.
Either that or Cox. There's so many terrible ISPs in the States.
Alright, well, right now we don't have a lot going on, so, we haven't even seen a real dungeon dive yet. Where do you think the first dungeon's gonna be? I would prefer to go to Ordeals. I feel like it's a shorter, safer dungeon with not a lot of encounters. Assuming you can get any kind of weapon or AoE that will help you get through it.
Judging by the fact that Will was attempting a pop grind at some point, it's possible harm spells are available early on. Keeping track of all this, it is hard to recall. Ooh, stun touch on the Peds. I could see why Sforzando was resetting out of them earlier.
Yeah, I don't think I blame him, and it looks like he's actually going to Marsh. I don't necessarily disagree with this, with the 2.2 experience multiplier. He's relatively low leveled at this point, and it's a pretty difficult overworld grind with the wolves having death touch, among other issues. So, and Peds with stun touch. So he's probably hoping to find something that, even if it's not a bracelet, it'll still give him an advantage, either monetarily or with a floater or with some kind of weapon.
Yeah, the Red Mage can equip a decent array of weapons, but those thieves, unless he lucks into the Mazmune, all they're ever going to see is a dragon or a coral sword. There is no class change in this flag set, so he cannot upgrade those thieves to ninjas and gain their equipping abilities.
Well, I don't think he's too worried about that. I mean, he's pretty much doing the thief strat just for the quick encounter running. And he finds a giant sword, which is okay. It's a tiny bit better than the long sword, but given that he already has a silver, it doesn't do him much good.
I will say this much, it is hard to tell what Quicklet's characters are with that sprite set. It is cute, but distinctions are hard. And Sforzando finding a slab and an Aegis shield. The slab may be helpful if Opal turns out to be in Mirage or Sky.
I don't know if we'll see him use it, though, because he went to Slab Quest yesterday, and it kind of bit him. So I don't know if he's going to be apprehensive to go that route or not.
It's possible he may put it off as long as possible, but he has the option.
We have a question in chat. Which version of Super Mario Bros. 3 is this one? The answer is the best one.
You're right, Meridian. The slab could be troll. Any of these items could be troll.
Alright, so while we got a small lull in the activity, let's give a plug to our runners. Currently, Quicklet's stream is not on there in the chat. We'll give our runners a follow. These guys put themselves out there and do it for our entertainment. And sometimes it is really frustrating to be the person showing up for everyone else and getting stomped. So show them some love. They would definitely appreciate it.
Definitely want to give these runners a follow, and if you want to get into this randomizer, our Discord is also very welcoming. Very good community. Even if we sometimes get a little salty after race losses, never really take it personal, and we do always help new runners.
Also, while we got a free moment, I'd like to give a shout out to our restreamer and admin Edgeworth. He's doing all the behind the scenes work right now, and you guys can't hear him even though we can. But he's currently doing tracking for all the runners as well as the streams and making sure that we all have something interesting to watch at all times. It's a thankless and very difficult job to do. So thank you, Edgeworth. We appreciate you.
It is a very difficult job. My computer is not good enough to restream.
Alright, Lynn had a successful peed grind, and he looks to be getting a little bit more experience. With Stun Touch, I wouldn't be surprised if he stops at two full peed screens, but we'll see what happens. And Sforzondo has just finished a Marsh Cave and is off to check some other places because unless I missed something, it looked to be completely fruitless.
Ooh, giants have ice too. And J-Lo wasting a turn.
Meanwhile, J-Lo ran into a wall known as a giant, and Quicklet is currently trying to kill a Geist. Okay, so he didn't check the wizard chest. That makes sense. He's fairly low leveled, and wizards, even if they aren't that strong, can still pack a wallop.
And their resistances are just so heavy that you need lightning spells or nuke or fade to deal with them.
And it looks like I lost Terra's audio again. I will be right back while I reset Discord.
Yeah, that is annoying. Tech failures just happen sometimes. Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back. So like Edgeworth was saying, Lynn's Fasted Fighter is doing a lot of good work for him. It's making a huge difference for him.
It is better than nothing, and really good if there's a small amount of enemies on screen.
And I think that he's making the right play along with Quicklet heading to Volcano as well as Forzondo. With the number of chests, especially in the second floor, it's really hard to argue against going there. You can make the argument that going past the second floor is not the best idea, but definitely the second floor is worth your time.
Sforzondo finding a ton of money and headed to the armory to go root around in there.
I believe we had a sync for a hot second.
He needs to be careful, them giants running around with ice too.
And sleep, holy smokes.
And slow.
We've got a Vorpal sword sighting down on Quicklet's screen.
Unfortunately, he will never be able to use it because I believe it can only be used by class-changed characters.
That's correct. But it doesn't mean we can't love the Vorpal Sword like our own child. I say that with my speedrunner currently sleeping on my chest, so he can't argue with me. Alright, Quicklet's given us a PowerPoint presentation on how to get out of the volcano. Sforzando is right behind him. And Lynn the Cat is about to get to the armory. He's coming around the backside. Oh, sorry, excuse me, he's already in the armory.
He has that fighter, so that ice shield is going to come in very handy for him, Len. There's the gold bracelet.
In Gaia, correct?
Looked like it was an Elflin, actually, but it is bloody expensive.
That's correct. That is going to be the max price. For those who are unaware, that is 2 to the 16th minus 1 power. You're right, it is an Elfland.
So, a money hunt. And Sforzando running into about 42,000 so far in big money?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think money's going to be too much of an issue. You've got a lot of money in the first floor of Volcano. I mean, 42,000 in just 2 chests, not to mention items that can be sold. They are not going to have any trouble, I don't think, buying the gold bracelet. It's going to be that hunt for the opal bracelet that's going to separate them. Basically, whoever finds the floater first. Because this is looking like one of those seeds where it's going to troll them and stick it on the bottom right corner of the mermaids. At least that's what I would do.
I am thinking it's going to be in Waterfall Cave, and we are going to see some nasty nightmares and mud golems.
Yeah, that's a good opportunity for chat to get involved. Hey chat, where do you think that opal bracelet's going to be? Because there's only so many places. We've already found the other 3 bracelets, so now we're just in a mad hunt for the opal bracelet. Then our black belts can finally be completely bedazzled. And we got Lynn going to the bottom floors of Volcano, whereas our other runners bowed out. This could pay off for him.
Meridian making the ultimate troll call. Masmian chest, that is very much a possibility.
Well, Meridian is the ultimate troll, so Kappa Kappa.
He does do a lot of dev work on this game though, so he would have a lot of insight.
That's true. For those who aren't aware, Meridian is one of our developers, along with Nitz and Entroper. They have done a ton of work getting this game to where it is right now. So why doesn't everybody say hi to Meridian, give him a hey guys wave, and tell him how much you love him.
And there's the floater.
Ooh, Lynn just took the lead. Although he left before checking the rest of the floor. That's a lot of chests he's missing out on.
Getting to that point of no return, though. He may not have an easy time fighting carry with that group at the moment.
That's true. That's a good point. And he doesn't have any ward for exit spells. Which, if I'm him, I'm going to I'm going not to Sardis Cave, but the Titan Cave and the Zardia Isles. And if I don't find anything there, I'm going to go hunting for the warp or exit spell, because that could make a huge difference in running in and out of these dungeons.
Oh, Sforzando dealing with another near wipe. But he's got more than enough money now to go ahead and grab that gold bracelet. Unfortunately, it's so expensive that he can't grab multiple copies to gain the defensive benefit on his other characters. Yeah, looks like Glenn is just gonna nope out a volcano at the moment and turn in his floater.
I think that's a good idea. No one's done yet, so you can reasonably assume that it's not in any of the locations accessible by boat. It could be, but the odds are getting lower and lower that it is. And, you know, he doesn't know that he's the first person to find the floater. But we know that, at least from what we can tell, he is. So he's got a really good shot of finishing in first place. If he can just get lucky, maybe the Waterfall Cave or Zardia Isles.
And while it is helpful for mobility, it could still be a troll. None of these runners have checked Ice Cave yet.
That's very true.
We have J-Lo checking the Earth Cave.
Not a bad play, especially the first floor.
Yep, with no exit, it is a little slow, but if you don't need what's there, you can always just reset out and dive again. And there's level 3 nuke.
Oh,
in
he's
Gaia.
gonna be so happy to see that. It's not exit or warp, but it'll make his life a whole lot simpler.
It is powerful AoE at a good level.
But he's leaving before checking the other magic shops. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I would at least go looking to see if exit or warp is hanging around up there in what's normally the level 8 shops.
He's gonna go check Titan's Cave, see what he's got here. Probably go check Zardia Isles after that. Meanwhile, Sforzando is also in Ordeals. Or no, he was the only one in Ordeals, right?
Yeah.
The validation chest, a copper bracelet, and a saber. Nothing. And he's gonna go pick up the rod from Sardia, excuse me. Although I don't know if he's planning on using it right now, not with the Zardia Owls.
It's probably something he won't end up using, but it's still nice to have in case a deep dive into Earth turns out to be the only option. Though you really don't want to have to go there. Those wizards can make things a slog even if you have a nuke spell. Quietly Quicklet has 3/4 of the equation. Just looking for that opal. So far, Len's found a coral sword, but we didn't get to see what the other 2 items in that particular Zardia Isle was.
Sforzando's trying to pick the right pillar, and it looks like he did.
They are shuffled.
And then picked the wrong one.
And with no warp, there is a very real risk.
Lynn's not resetting out of these Zardia Isle rooms. He's not finding what he's wanting and running out, which is a little peculiar, but maybe he's in it for the long haul. So you don't think I can imagine.
It's quite possible. I don't know if Biz is hearing me
Quicklet
at
is
this
now
point.
in Marsh Cave. A gold bracelet, which will save him a trip back to Elfland. And I appear to have lost Terra's audio again. Hooray for technology.
Len has checked all 3 Zardia Isles and apparently not found much, as Sforzando is still dealing with the shuffled teleporters.
back, prettier than ever.
Sounds like you couldn't hear Edge either.
I couldn't. What did he say?
He was letting you know you couldn't hear me.
Yeah, that'll happen. I seem to have a problem with Discord. I might reinstall it after this. Alright, Lynn's back in Gaia, and it appears he's probably going to go to the item shop to get the bottle, and also to the maid shops. And no bottle, which means it is an on-rack. He still hasn't gone to the maid shops either, which is very surprising. If not to get the bottle, or get X, at least get warp. Because if we end up having a Sky Castle required seed, you're not going to want to go into Waterfall and then run all the way back out of Waterfall.
Absolutely, and warp is also helpful if Sea Shrine turns out to be required.
Very true, and there's a max price bottle that he can't afford.
And there's no armor or weapon shops in on-rack for him to sell any extra equipment. He is checking the magic shops, though.
A level 1 lit 3 will be helpful.
And there's level 4 exit, but unlearnable.
Oh, the ultimate troll.
So now he pretty much has to find warp, and he has to hope it's in a red mage learnable slot. That is an issue when going with the default party.
Well, as long as it's one of the first 4 levels, he should be fine. Ooh, gators have toxic.
Oh, and he just lost everyone. Good thing he saved.
And we had Zorzando and JLo high-fiving. With Zorzando heading over to Earth Cave, it looks like. JLo appears to be heading towards Crescent Lake area. And let's see if... Go ahead.
And Quicklet running through the southern part of Marsh, and with his slideshow issue, it looks almost like he's running through a Dragon Warrior dungeon. No knock on Dragon Warrior, really, it's a good game. Sforzando now checking Earth.
Lynn still hasn't checked those magic shops. I'm not sure why he hasn't, unless he's forgotten that they're there.
It is quite possible. In a bunch of the different seeds we run, the magic level shuffle is not on. And typically, you don't have much reason to check the level 8 shops. And it could just be an autopilot thing. Looks like Sforzando is going to take a little deeper look into Earth. JLo is having a rough time of it, just reaching Crescent, and only at level 5.
Yeah, JLo's had a rough run so far, but he's not out of it yet, but it's not looking too hopeful for him. Sforzando finds a power staff, which is just nothing but money. And Lynn the Cat is hot on his heels. And I didn't see, does Sforzando have the rod?
I didn't notice.
I don't believe he does. I don't think he found the ruby yet to get the rod, so he's not going to be able to complete Earth Cave. and he might not be able to. He's not going to check the Earth room because they're probably a little too tough for him to kill. And Lynn's probably going to check it, so it could very well be an Earth, and Sforzando may walk right by it.
That is a very calculated risk of going in at such low levels that you can't kill the things. If it's in a guarded chest, like one of the Earth chests or wizard chest in Marsh, and you can't deal with them. It does say Super Mario Bros. 3, and that is because at the moment we cannot change the game. Twitch tweaked their API, which broke the channel bot that is used to change the game and title on this particular stream. JLo is making a volcano play now, as Quicklet is having a little bit of an issue with these. Ooh! Those wizards hit hard and often.
They like to do that, don't they?
And he's gonna find confusion is not gonna help him because they are practically immune. And looks like he checked the rest of the chest because he is just noping out of the whole endeavor and headed away from Marsh.
Smart man. Alright, Linda Cat's gonna check the Earth room and see if Sforzando missed out. Oh, Earth have lit 3. That is nasty. And he told his characters to run. Maybe he forgot that he can't.
Yeah, Earth Elemental encounters are always unrunnable.
All the elementals except for air are unrunnable, actually.
There is a water elemental formation that is runnable.
You're absolutely right with the Naga, right?
Yeah, but generally the rest of them are not. And there's nothing there, so really didn't seem worth it to try to beat his way through that Earth as he's resetting and gonna dive again.
Alright, everybody say hi to the vampire in Sforzando's screen. And say bye to the vampire in Sforzando's screen.
Yep, cutting through him pretty hard with that sun sword.
And Lynn leaves the Earth Cave. And is heading to the Ice Cave. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this whole skipping out of dungeons before you finish them deal. He's done that twice now.
It could be a very risky call.
Right, he's done it to the volcano and now Earth. And given that he has nuke spells, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't grinded just a tiny bit more on Peds.
It's at a decent level, but you need a few levels to be able to cast it enough. Having one nuke won't help you in these dungeons.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, he doesn't need to grind, but the extra 5 minutes you spend grinding could save you 20 minutes from resetting.
Very punny, chatters.
We still haven't gotten any Agam effects, and I am deeply disappointed in chat for this.
Well, to be fair, we haven't had any Agamas yet.
That's true. So Quicklit is now in Ordeals, and JLo is finally entering Volcano. He'll be happy to see some of that money, but it's not really going to do too much for him. It'll be interesting to see if JLo decides to go all the way down to the bottom of Volcano and find the floater.
With no warp spell, this is going to take a lot longer for Lynn than it has to.
That's true. And one thing worth noting that these chests aren't incentivized, so he's going to want to check that center chest too. Obviously, unless he finds the opal bracelet beforehand.
Oh!
And that's not game yet. And that's game. GG to Lynn the Cat. With an SRL time of 49 minutes and 57 seconds. We'll see if we can't get him into chat for an interview.
Just like that, it can all end. So this seed did take a decent amount of time to complete. I believe you can get to an hour 40 before the chaos point won't go away.
That's correct. It'll be an hour, 39 minutes, and 54 seconds.
So plenty of incentive for these runners to keep going, unless they've already won one in this stage and erased their chaos point.
And Sforzando's found the floater, but he's continuing on. He's probably hoping that, given the early time that Lynn found, or that Lynn won the seed, that it would be in Volcano or on the lower half of the dungeons.
Not even checking ice, though.
No, ice isn't one of the ones people want to check. But that, given the fact that it's not incentivized, it's not the worst play ever. I would like it more than I would like Marsh or Earth, but I can see why it would be lower on the list of dungeons you'd want to check.
It does have those wizard encounters, and if you don't have decent AoE and they come at you in a group of 6 or 7, it can take a while to get through them. You may not even survive the experience if they hit too hard. Plus you have the other unrunnable in the lower levels, which is anything involving a frost giant.
Thankfully, that's a relatively rare encounter in the bottom floor of ice.
But it is still a possibility. We have Smugzug now in the top right, replacing Len, who has completed. Sforzando opting for the full clear. He is going to be so disappointed.
I anticipate a reset out. Or not, maybe he's going to try to go ahead and kill Carrie and warp out that way.
Yeah, why not? You lose the floater, but as we've seen, it is not required this seed.
That's true, but he doesn't know that. And he may very well think that you have to go to, given the fact that Slab wasn't really fine, that it's in Mirage.
And he's running it out.
I never did like this play, but I understand it. It just seems like it would be quicker to go after Carrie, especially if you have early access to Confused, since she's very susceptible to it.
Very susceptible to pretty much all statuses, in fact. And looks like we have Len in the chat. GG.
Yes, GG to you, Iowa boy.
So while we wait for Len's vocals to come online, other runners are running around. Sforzando looks like he is going to make it out with his floater and other haul.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, that is true.
And he's safe! I shouldn't have done that. I just made speedrunner Hudson jump in my arms.
Yee! Don't scare the little one.
He is currently zonked out on my chest. This run was too much for him.
Almost too much for us with all these runners taking so many divergent routes.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to keep track of sometimes, but it's fun. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Sforzando head to Ice Cave next. It's close, it's a quick play, assuming everything goes well. But it wouldn't surprise me if he went somewhere else as well.
Well, it looks like he might be checking the freebie chest first, which would be
yeah.
a smart call since you don't know what's coming.
He'd be a fool not to.
And looks like we have Len back again.
All right, can you hear me now?
Nope.
I can hear you.
Man, I was so lucky that I couldn't afford to buy the bottle because I really wanted to go see Shrine.
Yeah, we saw that you made several attempts to get money before you gave up.
In my brain, I told myself it was like 32,000, and then I went back and sold a bunch of stuff and came back and it was actually max price. And at that point, I didn't know what to do, so then I just started searching where I thought the most chests would be that I could get to quickly. So I think I did Earth really quick, the top couple levels, and then I went off to Ice and got the last thing I needed.
Hey, you know what they say, better lucky than good, right?
Yeah, we were questioning some of those calls that you made where you were only going maybe 1 or 2 levels deep and then getting out.
I feel like in a race like this, you can't really search every chest thoroughly the same way you would in a normal one where you're going to have to get progression items. I think that, you know, you have to kind of cut some corners to have any shot at winning one of these.
I'd argue with you, but you won. So obviously you're better at it than I would be.
Sometimes the law of averages is what does the trick in this, especially with such an unconventional goal.
It's a true story.
Did
All right,
anyone find the
another
opal
stream.
before the... Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Before the floater?
No, not that we're aware of. As far as we can tell, no one's found the opal except you. Which I think is kind of surprising that no one else has dipped into Ice Cave yet. But
It's not incentivized, so there's not a real good reason to go there, and you have to go pretty far down before you go anywhere. I had to dodge a crap ton of wizard encounters before I got anywhere.
Looks like we're getting Will back on bottom right.
So, Lynn, would you chalk this up to being a corn-fed brother from the flyover state of Iowa for your win?
We dedicate this to all the people from the flyover states. We do our best. You know, we eat lots of corn, we get nice and fat, and then we get real good at Randomizer. Yep.
You also steal away all the good wrestling coaches. Thanks for that.
We got a wrestling school. That's one of the few things we're good at.
Your state has stolen 2 of my wrestling coaches. I just want to point that out. Alright, what do we got here? We got Sforzando still checking the Zardia chest. We've got J-Lo heading what it looks like back over to Marsh Cave. Will Bloodworth is leaving Crescent with a floater. See where he heads to next. And Smugzug is currently whipping up on some snakes.
Was I behind everybody early? I felt like I had a really terrible start.
Sforzando, I think, had the best start. I think Tara would agree with me on that one. But afterwards, I mean, you grinded. That's where you took the lead. When you killed those 2 PED groups outside of Crescent, that's what let you over Sforzando, because he had a lot of trouble dealing with things, whereas you seem to have a little bit more ease getting through encounters.
Yeah, it's
Go
Sforzando
into,
going.
can't go into Volcano like at level 5 and expect to be able to, get anywhere.
So it looks like Sforzando is gonna head to Lafitting and get his chime, check Mirage, which is gonna be the totally wrong play, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's odd. I mean, I get the desire to not want to go to Ice Cave, but it's low level. You can get in and out relatively easily with 2.2 experience compared to somewhere like Mirage, where the enemies are going to hit a whole lot harder. I get the desire to not go to Ice Cave, but with the parties you have and the lack of experience, I feel like it's an easier play than some of the other places could be.
And there's
I think
Warp.
you're right. Where was Warp?
In Leffen.
Yep, at level 2. Really out of the way place to find it, unfortunately. So yeah, something else that's been holding Sforzanda back a little bit is his unconventional party makeup. He went with 2 thieves and a red mage.
I
Red
understand.
Mage, and I thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it, but at the same time, you're not really getting anywhere by running. It's not making the game any easier in the long run.
Some like tankability, and something like a fighter gives you, more tankability, or I can even see going 3 red mages.
Now you're just talking crazy speak.
If I were running these flags, I would probably personally go with 3 different hats.
I feel like a tank is always necessary. Ooh, a mass immune sighting, that's going to be helpful. A tank is always necessary, but after that, I think the hats are the way to go. I personally left my black belt dead in my run yesterday. He was a doormat that just served to give more experience to my fighter and 2 red mages.
I've tried killing off the black belt, but I kind of feel like having an extra guy to run and an extra guy just as a hit point soak is kind of handy because of the nature of what we're doing in a race like this.
I can understand that. My thought process is with a low experience multiplier, it's in such a short supply, and I don't know if I'd say you won it because of your levels, but it made your trek a lot easier just by being a higher level than anyone else as far as I can tell.
You figure out that you're going to have to go digging into some of these more difficult dungeons. I just feel like you have to get up to maybe level 7, maybe level 8, kind of minimally. And if there's an easy Pete fight outside of Crescent, why not take it? Why not take 2 or 3 of them real quick? I spent, like 3 minutes doing that, and it really helped.
8-hit chimeras, that is pretty damn rough.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see, and they're great for experience too. If you got a new cast or 2 new casts, they're wonderful to see, unless they wreck your face.
With these stats, even the whatever enemy you're dealing with, normally in vanilla they're a joke, in this they could be downright brutal.
Anybody's run into in this seed so far?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Lynn?
What's the nastiest or the worst thing that you guys have seen so far? Does anything have nuke or blizzard or something like that?
Well, we did see Lit 3 earlier from something.
From the Earth Elementals. But that wasn't, that was you. You're the only one that's seen it, 'cause I think you're the only one that's bothered to fight the Earth Elementals. The wizards were a little tough. They could do some damage. and then wolves with death touch. That was probably the biggest shocker. I mean, that's what started the game out so slow, was just that slog getting past the wolves.
Touch? I never saw it.
You never saw death touch? Oh, and that's right. Medusas were pretty nasty, if I remember right.
So, interestingly...
They had Dazzle and Brack on them.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Sforzando falling for the crown trap. So sadly, he's gonna be wasting a bunch of time doing the fetch quest and then checking all the key lock chests when none of them are necessary.
Well, Bloodworth is over in ice. He's gonna be happy that he went there.
You could very well pull a second out of this. We've got a forfeit, but no other finishers so far. And Will has a Zeus Gauntlet, which is going to help him immensely against these wizards.
That's right. And it's worth mentioning that every minute adds 0.02 to your score here. So you're starting to get into the diminishing returns area. These runners are currently about 16 minutes past Lynn's finishing time. So they're sitting at about 0.32 to 0.33 on their scores. So if they don't finish soon, a lot of them are going to start forfeiting and looking at this as a lost cause. Math. Boom.
Yeah, it really sucks to see so many people giving up, but that's the nature of the way things are in this league this season. J-Lo,
Looking forward to...
You go ahead.
Forward to the stage 4 races, getting back to a kill chaos goal, and I think they could be a lot of fun with 4 wizards and a thief, and fairly high experience, so I'm really looking forward to the next stage.
It could be very interesting.
Agreed. I think that the difficult seeds like thief and 3 black mages can be fun, and it really eliminates the luck factor that you run into with seeds like this, with the fetch quest seeds, where you're trying to find the right items, like in round 2, the floater or the ruby, or in this seed, finding the opal bracelet. Sometimes just making the right decision is luck based, but in the round 4, 5, and 6, where you're having to defeat chaos with a set party, it really brings out the differences in skill levels, I feel like.
True. A thief and 3 black mages, even class changed, it's a very difficult group to get through chaos with, especially with some of the boosted stats we'll be seeing.
That's true, although having a thief, it could be worse. As a ninja, they do get fire or flame and ice armor. You can equip pretty much any weapon on them, with the exception of the Excalibur. So they're not pushovers. And then, a fasted ninja with a power bonk and a defense sword can really, really make a difference. And GG to Will. He has finished in 2nd place with an SRL time of 1 minute, 8 seconds, and 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 44 seconds.
Definitely GG to him. I know he's been having some rough times lately.
That'll earn him approximately a 0.36 in the round 2, or in the round 3 seeds.
Lan, you smoked me like a Christmas ham, dude. Wow, good pick.
I'm sorry, GG, man. You looks like you're dominating everybody else there. I just got lucky and went to the right places first. Typical story on a seed like this.
Yeah,
don't let them lie to you. It was all the corn.
It's all the corn. Yeah, I didn't know what to do after I saw the dot done. I was sitting in grinding peeds outside of Crescent Lake so I could survive, places like the ice cave. So I don't know how Well, I don't know how did you get past the pirates? Did you just grind? What got you survivability?
No idea. I have no idea what the pirates had. I got my very first action was the red mage who cast confuse, and it confused all the pirates. So I never saw what the pirates had.
They didn't have anything. They were just really tough and had high HP. So I think casting confuse would have been the right move. I passed on it because I thought I'd be finding better low-level spells, and I didn't want to lock up a low-level slot like that so early in the game. But it turns out it was probably the right move. That could have saved me, like, I think 15-20 minutes of gameplay.
Because I think we might have done the same thing. I grinded a few peds outside of Crescent, then I went Volcano, grabbed the floater, exited. I searched a bunch of chests before I finally went to Ice, but that was my basic route.
I full cleared Volcano. I straight full cleared. I got everything, and I managed to get out. I only lost a Black Mage in the process. But then I ended up saying, okay, well, let's go ahead and buy the 2 things I need, because I got all the money ever in Volcano. So grab gold, grab silver. I'd already gotten copper from Crescent Lake, and said, all right, well, let's just check Waterfall. After checking all the free chests in Titan's Tunnel and the Cardia Islands, I was like, okay, Waterfall, and now I don't have anything. Where could Len have gone to finish this early on a really good gamble? Probably either Ice Cave or Deals or Marsh. So let's try Ice. And miraculously it was the right way.
Yeah, Sforzando's going to be really disappointed in himself when, I mean, he could have finished pretty much at any point in the last, 45 minutes, and he just hasn't made the right call.
Easily.
Jeez.
He has just been falling for trap after trap.
That's not good.
No, and, it happens. And it's frustrating, but Sforzando's a good runner, and he'll recover from this. He'll get more races in, and it wouldn't surprise me if he won one before this round's over.
What's happening with Sforzando right now? What do you mean he could have finished early?
He's had every bracelet except the opal bracelet, and when you think about where the opal bracelet is, I mean, it's like the second chest you check in Ice Cave. You realize that if I had just gone there from the beginning, he's been through what, 5 dungeons?
Oh no!
He's
still hasn't checked the Ice Cave.
He's checked Earth. He's checked Mirage. He's checking Waterfall right now.
He checked Ordeals.
He checked Mirage. Where did he get Chime? How did he get Chime? Like, how did he get Slab?
Slab was in Ordeals,
Marsh
right?
Cave.
Oh,
Slab was
sorry.
in Marsh. Oh no! Oh no! The giveaway here, of course, is Len's finish time. Like, there's very little chance that he did all of the slab stuff and then went to, from there to get Chime, and then the Waterfall to get Cube, and then all the way up to.
And that is very true.
Yeah, it would have been a long shot. I could see like Minochi and maybe 1 or 2 other people could possibly route that and get that finish time, or would gamble that heavily and get that finish time, but not the average player.
He also fell for the crown trap, so he went and checked all the key lock chests.
Oh, that wasn't a bad move though. I mean, that's 24 free chests, I believe, or at least 21. So it's
Nice.
not bad.
Cube.
If you notice me in Waterfall, I got Cube and I just reset out. I didn't after I got the Waterfall chest, I didn't even bother with the Cube because I knew I'm not getting up to Sky Cave. It's not going to be there.
Yeah, I have a feeling Sforzando is going to be very disappointed in himself after this is said and done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I was 1 or 2 decisions away from being in the same boat because I was debating, do I want to go Marsh or Deals or Ice? 1 in 3 chance, and I picked the one that had the most chests in it.
See, I was in the same boat because I really wanted to go water, and the only reason I didn't go water before I went Ice is because I couldn't afford the bottle.
How much was the bottle? I didn't see it.
Max price.
I saw the max price gold bracelet. I'm like, oh, goody. Goody. So, actually,
Sforzando does have the money to buy the bottle, and looks like he's gonna fall for that trap.
oh no.
I don't anticipate Swarzando finishing his run, though. At this point, you are now officially at a 0.5 and only getting higher. At some point, I feel like you're going to start seeing runners just cut their losses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Allie forfeited before I even finished.
We are going to be seeing a ton of forfeits in this particular seed.
Yeah. I definitely would like to get a 000 in this round and make up for that terrible round 1 that I had. I have a 0.15 out of several races and tries to get that down further. You know, it bugs me a lot more than I think the 0.01 bugs show. And I just have to be sure I can get the lowest possible score every round. And, you know, 0.3 whatever is not terrible, but I have to make up for a bad round, so I'm going to keep swinging.
With the tear that Split and Artea have been on, I can see why Show is a little bothered by it, because you're that close, and you can't really count out Artea and Split, you know, finishing at least once in first every round.
Mm-hmm. They can't count it out, but they still have to do it. You know, when the competition gets tight enough, I think you're going to see a lot more defense being played, and you know, the more people that are in a race, the less likely it is that Artea or Split's going to finish number 1 in a race. Good as you are, like other people, that variance, that law of large numbers is going to weigh on you. You're going to get that one person in any race, in a big race, who knows or just goes to the right place and gets everything before you do. You see, looking like a Zelda 3 randomizer race, and you know, 50, 60 people. It's rarely the best runner who wins those. It's usually somebody who just made the right guesses.
Especially in this flag set and these rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually surprised Split this early in the round has gotten his 000, because you know, it's been random winners every time.
So we got a question in chat: where did people grind? There wasn't a lot of grinding up to this point, but it looks like Peds, even with their stun touch, were the best possible choice once you acquired Nuke.
Nuke? Where was Nuke at? Was that in Melman?
It was in Gaia.
Oh, Gaia. Okay, yeah, I didn't even go there. That's a very, very good.
It was only level 3. It was nice. That made me a lot more confident going into Ice Cave having that nuke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once I realized it wasn't going to be super easy for me to get warp or exit, and once you'd already finished, I'm like, I'll buy the bracelets I need, and wherever I go, if it's there, and I win. If it's not, reset. Go to the next place. Don't worry about exit or warp. Just survive long enough to collect all the chests.
Exit was up in Gaia, and your white mage could have learned it. It was locked away from the red mages.
Oh, it was like a slot 2 level 1 spell, or was it like
level 4?
4? Oh, jeez. That, well, my grind, very, very early game, because the imps were so strong and I just couldn't get anything going. I actually used rub on iguanas to get to level 5 so I could survive the pirate fight, because I was too dumb not to buy Confused like I should have.
So it goes.
Yep. Yeah, those spells bite me in the ass when I don't get them.
What is Smugzug doing? I think Smugzug just had a brain fart.
Yeah, only 3 of the Zardia Isles contain chests. The other ones are worthless to go to, especially in this rule set, since you are not allowed to class change.
Ooh, Badman hit like freaking trucks on steroids.
Their Sforzando has officially forfeited from.
Yeah, he just wiped. I don't blame him.
I predict a massive flip. This is once he figures out where he could have gone to end it like 40 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. This is a potentially very painful seed for anybody, regardless of your skill set.
Thank the gods for being practiced dealing with long car rides.
Yeah, Will, about that spell selection, I think you do want to pick up something like that in flags like this. In a long race, you wouldn't, because you don't want to fill up the first spell slot. But you don't need things like fast or temper or those other things that you need in a long game. So I think the odds of filling up your early spell slots are really small in a seed like this.
Yeah, I think it kind of bit me in the ass a little bit. I think you're right.
Couple of battles, you know, but I never had to worry about spell slots.
That's definitely a good thing. I just it's in my nature to plan for long game, just from my normal strats in this, planning for the worst Temple of Fiends possible and so forth. So I guess I carried that over a bit into this, and that's why.
The seed could have been that if either of you would have guessed too much wrong.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. So I think I fixed the noise gate here. It shouldn't. You shouldn't be hearing the water in the background unless I'm talking.
It's entrancing.
Quickly checking the level 8 shops in Gaia. Life is there at level 7. And the black magic shop only has stop.
Hammer time.
Yeah, that's full on the limit.
I feel sorry for everyone checking the northern world. I really do.
Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't had anyone else check the ice cave yet. At this point, our runners are currently sitting at a 0.65. Not much more incentive to continue moving on.
Yep,
Unless
then don't...
Unless the SRL points matter to you.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Don't adjust your screens, folks. These are the only 3 people left running. We did not have many entrants today for this particular slot.
It's a daytime race on a weekday, so we're typically not going to get a lot of US-based runners, which is the core of our community.
So we're about 16 minutes from it being a complete wash as far as chaos points go.
Wow. Look what you've done, Len. GG,
Oh,
by the way, if I haven't said it already, GG. I'm glad you got your 3 zeros.
Every class has someone ruined a curve.
I'm telling you. I always prefer being that person than being wrecked by that person.
No Tristal, and no Split Punched, and no Artea. And when I saw none of those 3, I thought maybe I had a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me I have a chance?
Yeah, it's in this seed, in this flag set, everybody has a chance every race. There is no... This flag set knows no SRL score, and it knows no skill set.
This is true. If you thought Stage 2 was a crapshoot simulator, you ain't played this one.
No. Round 2 at least tested your ability to play the early game quickly and effectively. This, you don't really necessarily need to have a good early game. Unless the dwarves, dwarf chests have Opal Bracelet, or, you pick up Opal when you go to get TNT in Marsh, but...
Or the first... Yeah. Or the first 3 bracelets are buyable in the first couple towns pretty cheap.
Right. Yeah, then you're just talking about execution, pure execution. And even then, like, you get a couple of some bad RNG in a few fights, and, it doesn't matter if you're Artea, if you're Edgeworth, if you're Tristal, or if you're me, or a brand new player, you're gonna fall victim to that. Ambushes suck.
We got a Tyro sighting. And a Speedrunner Hudson awakening.
Hudson heard Tyro and woke right up.
Yep, and Quicklet's gonna make him some... Well, he's gonna freeze him some steaks.
Freeze-dried steak.
There you go.
Hudson is very disappointed that Tyro is dying. I need to raise him better.
Well, he got it right. Little Team Tyro member in the making.
Team Tyro represent.
That's right.
Just because I think my son's perfect doesn't mean he is perfect.
Oh, man. I don't think this Tyro's going anywhere. Yep. And Smug's following
Ooh, this is rough for Quick.
the... Yes.
Running into that unrunnable with no nuke charges.
Yeah, ouch. And there's the Ordeals gamble from JLo. Tyro says, not today, Satan, not today.
It is a fun scene when people try to kill the Tyros, and the Tyros are like, let's see how you like being made into a steak.
Now the real question isn't everybody on Team Steak when it comes to the T-Rexes?
T-Rex, that's not really a Team Steak, Team Tyro issue, though. That's a Team XP versus Team Losing. T-Rexes are not Tyros.
T-Rexes are unholy blue abominations and must be stopped at all costs.
Yep. Yeah, those are the zombies. those are the zombie version of Tyros. Can't be sentimental about what they used to be.
And there's another name option for fun percent.
Zom Tyro. They'll confuse people into trying to cast harm spells on them, and it's not going to do them any good. Why isn't it weak to fire? Because it's not really dead. It is a do-it-yourself dead dinosaur kit that you got there. It don't come that way.
Just add swords and nuke.
That's it.
That's a solution to life right there.
Yeah, JLo, disappointment sets in, I'm sure.
Wonder where it'll go next. Meanwhile, our other runners are running through the waterfall cave. Looks like Quicklet just decided to... No, he's going back for another go. He must have near wiped.
Oh wow.
We're officially past the 0.75 threshold.
He might be trying just to get the cube out of here. I don't know if he's gotten to the chests or not, but... If he's thinking I need cube to get up to the sky cave, because that's where the opal bracelet's gonna be, then... I really think he's gonna be pretty upset.
And Quicklet does have warp, I believe.
That's gonna make life a little bit easier to get to the point of resetting out of that place. I just don't know if it'll be soon enough to avoid the 0.1 or the 1.0.
JLo is closest in proximity to the solution if he just thinks about it.
Well, he went Ordeals, so it stands to reason the next place to go would be Ice or Marsh.
Even non-incentivized, Ice has more than enough chests to make it worth it, especially if you have a way to clear Wizard and Frost Giant groups.
So he never got the floater. JLo didn't.
Nope.
That may actually be a good thing.
Yeah, that will prevent him from getting some otherwise useless things.
We have just crossed the 0.8 threshold.
Yeah, I hear you, Meridian. I can't tell either. That is something may need a little bit of addressing after this race.
I've gone back to, like when I'm showcased, I've gone back to running my old generic icons. There've been some confusion about what my yin yang symbol was as a red mage, or what the other characters were going to be. So it's eliminated the confusion.
And JLo heads to the volcano.
Immediately volcano.
And I'd like to give props to Terralyn. I really like her feminized sprites. I think they look great.
Yeah, they do. I commented on those the first time I saw them. They were awesome.
They're fabulous.
Said you went through and pixel by pixel created those yourself. I believe I heard you say it once.
Did you really?
Well, I copied them off of templates, but yeah, I put them in pixel by pixel. I didn't straight up import them or anything. And I've been doing pixel by pixel fixes as I find things wrong.
Wow.
Yeah. I created my crappy ones pixel by pixel. The hardest one was probably the yin yang, getting that figured out, but I got it. And then, Saitama for the black belt. The coloration's kind of weird. I don't get to have the skin tone, the red boots, the yellow suit, and the cape all be different colors because you can only have 3.
And that's NES limitations for you.
That's it. It's not Charlie Brown, Meridian. It is not Charlie Brown.
Arg!
Arg!
Womp womp, womp womp, womp womp, womp womp.
Yes, Meridian.
Womp 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 womp.
So Quicklet finding the crown, and unfortunately I'm thinking it's gonna lead him into another trap.
Oh no. Admiral Akbar said it best.
If this were a normal defeat Chaos Seed, we would be thrilled at these people finding these things, but in this particular flag set, in this particular goal, every progression item is just no.
JLo following in my footsteps throughout the entirety of
So JLo getting his floater, unfortunately. Looks like none of these runners at this rate are going to finish in time to shave off anything from a chaos point.
No. JLo's the only one who's anywhere near a maybe.
And if he decides to full clear Volcano, he is going to run out of time pretty quick.
I think it took me somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 minutes to clear it all. I was just praying that the opal bracelet was down in the bottom floor, the second bottom floor, after I got floater. Like, I don't want to take the floater bait and leave and have the opal bracelet be in like the red dragon chest or one of the gray worm chests and just leave here. But I had no apprehensions about leaving the fire chest. I didn't think there was any chance anyone killed that.
Alright, our runners are now at 0.9. Here soon, they will officially be out of the running for any chaos points.
Any reduction in it, rather?
Well, yeah, thank you.
At this point, just doing it for pride and maybe SRL points. Especially since so far, only 2 people have finished.
A long time ago. Len had a 49.57, I had a 108.44. And I wasn't feeling too great about my finish time, but at this point, any finish time is, I think, preferable to not finishing at all.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, at this rate, minus forfeits, it may still end up being last.
That's true.
Then again, the old racing adage, second place is just the first loser.
That's right. That's
Hey,
the
if you ain't
feeling.
first, you're last, baby.
That's right.
I want to go fast.
I want to go fast.
Karate
That's what's-
Ninja Hippo, the game is messed up because we cannot change what it is. Nightbot is currently broken. This is the Final Fantasy Randomizer League, not SMB3 Randomizer, unfortunately.
However,
Unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. Ali says that he won by forfeiting. I think this is definitely another seed that files as one.
I would agree with that.
Quickwood is going through those crown chests. That's going to be...
Yet another giant waste of time.
Did anyone fight Carrie when they went to the bottom of Volcano?
hell to the no.
Not that I'm aware of.
We haven't seen any.
I didn't go anywhere near any fiends except for Carrie. I was close, but didn't. Obviously, I didn't fight her. At that point, I didn't. The best offensive spell I had was Quake. I didn't even have Confuse to use on her.
And we are about 2 minutes away from no more chaos point reduction being possible. At this point, it's pretty much out of reach for everyone. Even if someone walked in the ice cave now, they would need the God Hero run to find it.
They would. And there isn't such a thing on the encounter table. The second encounter, or the gap between the first and the second encounter is probably about a 9-second run. And I think the next decent one on that table is after either the 7th or the 8th fight. And it's another comparably long run.
Yeah, that encounter table, there was one that was really good after, I mean really good, it was something that you could use after the first encounter, and then there was a big cluster of them, and then there was another decent one after that, but there were no hero runs in the whole thing.
Exactly right. Yeah, those, you know, you look at it, it's 256 steps in the entire cycle, and among those on the overworld, you're going to have 10 encounters. Just for people who aren't aware of how this all works. So that's what gets randomized, is where on that line of 1 to 256 are those 10 encounters going to be sprinkled in. And that's why you sometimes see 15-second long runs without a fight, or you'll see like 3 fights, one tile after the next after the next. It's always going to be random. And then as you go through the game without resetting, it'll loop around again, and then it'll loop back on itself and start running backwards, and then it'll go forward again, and so forth and so on. It's interesting how it's all laid out. But that's one of those mechanics of the game. If you understand that you've had 9 encounters and no hero runs, you're going to have a long run coming up.
That is one thing I miss when I'm running a PSP version of this, is the encounter table.
Is the PSP version using a locked encounter? Like, is it a standard encounter table that always gets used?
It is truly random.
Oh, it is.
It's probably tied into like the internal clock on the PSP. That's how most randomizers work.
Or frame RNG.
What it is basically, it's something like frame RNG. As you walk, it builds up threat, and if your threat hits a certain level to match a predetermined random number, then you get an encounter.
Mm-hmm. I think it's what Final Fantasy was kind of trying to do, but it worked out the other way. So, in again, with the PSP version, does that mean that 2 runners can be running the same seed and like you could run into a ton of fights? And
Absolutely.
Oh wow, that's pretty brutal.
It is something I have both benefited from and gotten bitten by over in the Total Chaos 3 tournament.
Yeah, that's something I don't necessarily go in for, is with that being the RNG circumstance, you know, the encounter rates, since encounters are such a huge percentage of your runtime in any RPG that has random encounters in them, it's sometimes races are indicative of better luck than your actual skill in dealing with the encounters you come across. Whereas with this, if you learn it, you know how to manipulate it, that's a skill.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I'm not really a fan of the other extreme either, where you have to memorize a step route for the entire game, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
So it is now officially impossible for any of these remaining 3 runners to get rid of any portion of their chaos point.
Nah, it's overrated. I think I got a 1.47 in a round 2 race. Sometimes you just want to complete it because the hell with this seed, you're going to show it who's boss.
Yeah, I've done that as well.
All these runners are going to be kicking themselves once they find out it was an ice.
None of them are giving up, though. Quicklet did a quick entrance check in IRC to see who was still left in the race, but didn't forfeit out.
He could very well pull out a 3rd. Whoever... It just shows, though, how loathed Ice Cave truly is.
I hate it. I do hate it. Like, going there, I went there begrudgingly. I did not want to go to Ice Cave. I was like, there's more chests here than anywhere else, and if I get through everything, beat the eye, and get nothing, I'll reset out, and then I'll go to either Marsh or Ordeals. Like, Ordeals without warp is definitely not a good time either.
And I could definitely see why those 2 are the first incentivized things in the randomizer.
It had the most chests.
Yeah. Ordeals with columns shuffled is one of those things that took me a long time to adjust to.
Yeah, it is absolutely brutal. Especially with the soft lock risk.
That's true. I typically will go into Ordeals Castle after throwing off whatever fights I need before getting to a long run in the encounter table. And then I'll go in, get as far as I can, and if I get shot back to the beginning or too far back in the progression of columns, I'll just power cycle out and repeat, rather than try to push through everything and risk a power lock.
So now Smug is headed down the volcano. And it looks like Quicklet is headed to the Sea Shrine.
Oh boy. Yeah, Ice Cave wasn't necessarily the intuitive correct choice to make. I've seen races finish within the 30, 40, 50 minute mark, heading to Sea Shrine or heading to the first 2, like the Mirage Tower, rather than places like Ordeals or Ice.
Right, but when you look at the time it takes to acquire the gold to buy the bottle, and didn't go to get the Oxyale, and like...
You can look at Volcano. The party room itself had enough gear and gold where you could sell that stuff off and afford the gold bracelet and afford the bottle and have plenty of money left over for spells and what have you. There was that much stuff in Volcano. I think I got Dragon Armor, I got Katana, I got a number of other high-ranking armor and weapons that pulled out of there. And I was thinking, I think this is probably where Len went to get all of his money. I don't know if that's true, Len, but that's what my
It's actually not true. I reset out after I got all those things because they didn't help me any.
Oh wow, you already had a. Where did you get the gold bracelet? Did you buy it with?
Well, the gold brace. Where was the gold? I definitely found a gold brace. I think I found it in the Cardia Islands.
There was one
Yeah.
there. Yeah, you could buy it in Elfland for full price for
On
60.
an Elfland. So I left it behind, and then when I found one in Cardia, I didn't need it, and so then I was just on the hunt for the opal at that point. But I didn't have the gold when I went into Volcano for the first time, and so I just reset out after I cleared the second level, went down, found the floater, and I didn't search another chest in Volcano after I found the floater. I just ran out.
Yeah. That was definitely the correct play. It wasn't necessarily the intuitively logical move, and I can't say that it was or wasn't, but it was definitely the correct one for the seed. I was too intrigued by the fact that there could have been an open bracelet in any of those chests on that floor, or the Red Dragon chest, and I'd come that far, so I wasn't going to leave without knowing. But I would have dived back down to grab the...
I didn't want to go farther down into the volcano with the floater and then lose all that time wiping or something, so I really wanted to get out with the floater, and I figured I could come back to Volcano and get the rest of the chest pretty quickly should I choose to.
Right. Smug is intuitively fighting the Agama. Or instinctively, I should say.
Even though there's really no point in doing a protracted grind, since
There's no point.
you ideally want to avoid all the big bosses it'll be useful for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no reason to grind at all at this stage of the game. If you can survive your way through an entire dungeon, minus a boss, then you're done grinding. Unless you need like a particular spell, exit or warp to navigate out within dungeon. There's no need for more left.
Or that theoretical seed where it turns out it's in TOFR somewhere, in which case you have to at least clear the first 4 fiends.
Right.
I hope we get one of those. I really hope we get one of those. And now that I got my 0, I really hope we get one of those.
I'm sure you do. Bear in mind that those are the types of seeds that tend to have lower score differentials because they're so much longer. So,
Oh
like,
yeah. Just
like
look how
Go ahead.
just look how long this one is taking without requiring any of the fiends.
I have you about 18 minutes in this race, and that translates to like a 0.3 something. Whereas 20-minute difference in a race that long could be something as low as like 0.08 or 0.13.
0.36 actually, Will.
0.36 for this race, yeah. Yeah, that doesn't really bump me up that much higher from what I had before. I think it was at a 0.4 something for this round.
But you did improve your score here.
Yeah, very, very marginally, but yes, I did. I'm happy that I had a result that wasn't total garbage for a change, because that's what I've been doing lately, is, making the wrong decisions, and I've had time leaks where I couldn't even identify where. Smug's heading to ice. Hallelujah.
Nice.
Yay!
We might have a third finisher here.
That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Of SRL points that he can get from this one.
Yeah. We've beaten out, Swarzando, beaten out Quicklit, and who else was in this race that's ahead of him on SRL points?
I am not sure offhand.
Those are some people with some pretty decent SRL rankings. And that'll reflect in the points he gets from finishing this out, if that matters at all.
So, assuming one of these last couple enemies Smug runs into doesn't have something particularly nasty, he will be finishing within a minute or so.
Those mages are no joke, by the way. They're pretty hard hitters, and he doesn't even get ambushed by them. They have a very, very high ambush rate.
Yeah, some of the ambush rates in this version of the game are absurd.
Yeah, like there's shadows, and then there's a fight in Earth 4 with the giant and a whole garden variety of enemies. That's how I want. Mages are high on that list.
Running into sorcerers, which are usually scary, but luckily we know their death touch is nowhere to be found, near them at least.
Nope, those are all wolves. That was a fun thing to learn.
Oh yeah, something that's incredibly common as a wolf. Oh, he sees it, but he don't have the room. Dropping the flame shield.
There we are, Smug.
And there's his GG.
G to the G.
GG.
Finishing third with a time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, 50 seconds.
And I'll step away for a moment here and let you congratulate Smug. I'll be right back.
And we have Smug Zug. GG.
Thank you.
Yes, GG. How did you feel about finding the opal bracelet in an ice cave?
I second guessed myself, so yeah, not so great.
So, what do you think about the seed?
Seed's interesting. I like that it's something different, but I can see where sometimes some people might feel it's a bit trolly. But so far, I've enjoyed it in practice runs and in this run.
So, what route did you take? How did you, how did you end up getting what you got?
After TNT and getting out, I went and did the Armory of Volcano, and then after that was kind of empty, I decided maybe Marsh, and got everything but Wizard Chest before bouncing back to Volcano to find the floater, and then open out for Mirage Tower, and then back to finish up Volcano, and then Ice Cave.
So where was the slab?
Marsh.
Yeah.
Like this, you just don't want to find the crown or the slab.
Yeah, the crown kind of led me on a goose chase, but the slab, I don't know. I mean, if it gets you a quick, at least Mirage Tower, it's not so bad. It just depends on what's there.
So I don't know if we've seen any progress here with JLo or not.
Looks like he's still trying to clear out the chests in Mirage. Quicklet did a full clear of Sea Shrine and didn't find anything worth it. Now it looks like he's going to Mirage.
Yeah, they're not going to be happy when they realize it's an ice cave. Nothing's more frustrating than full clearing dungeons only to find out that it was somewhere you could have went an hour ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a common element to my runs, and I think lately I've been going everywhere I'm not supposed to go, so this was a bit of a deviation from that trend.
JLo finding nothing and abandoning Mirage. Let's see where he's off to next. Yeah, so now Quick is up in Sky.
The more of this seed that I play and that I watch, I really think having a thief on your squad is really worthwhile.
I can see it going both ways. Me personally, I don't like using thieves, and I don't ever want to use a thief, but I understand how they can give you an advantage.
Albatross, the way they are in a typical seed where you have to drag their, their loser asses all through, all these boss fights that they can't help you in.
So it looks like Quicklet's stream actually has hella delay, and he may already be done. Oh yeah, Quick is about very behind, like 14 minutes.
Oh wow.
So yeah, the only one left running is JLo, and let's get Quick in here. GG Quick.
Yes, GG, sir.
Sorry about my stream.
That's okay. We were enjoying the PowerPoint presentation.
Man, ice.
Yeah. Yeah, we were wondering if
Like
anybody
an
would
hour
throw
ago.
something.
And we are done. JLo has forfeited, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it goes. This was a fun scene to watch people
having a good time. That Len looks like you might get some takers for your race then if we're doing the...
Who wants to tell him?
I'm doing a comment right now. I'm trying to remember my race progression. I went after I got the canal. I think I went Earth 1 and 2, but I didn't Earth Elemental. Then I went down and checked out the Elfland spells. Then I went over to